Hey, everybody, it's Eddie from Tokyo. This is your cryptocurrency update from Japan. We're going to talk a lot about XRP and Ripple and a little bit of Flare at the end. I think everyone recognizes this as Ashish Birla. He is the general manager at Ripple. And no doubt he is busy because Brad Garlinghouse most definitely is busy with other things right now. So I would imagine we're going to hear a lot from him like we are today on a live stream this Wednesday afternoon at 3 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And I heard Alex Cobb is going to stream it live in case you don't want to register to view that. You can catch it on his channel. If you're new to this space, it's easy to find. Just go to YouTube, put in Alex Cobb. He has 50,000 subscribers. And I think he was streaming every day in the beginning of his channel, which is from September 2017. So yeah, he's really becoming an OG now. But he took a little bit of a break. So if you are new to this space, maybe you're not aware of Alex, but Alex is back doing a lot of content. So this is going to be your source if you want to watch Ashish in the live stream. He's going to talk about the brand, the Ripple brand, through partnerships. I imagine from his tweets on Tuesday, it's going to be a lot about the Asia Pacific region. It's the busiest region still for RippleNet. And also, he talks about India-MENA corridor, the India-MENA corridor, MENA being the Middle East Northern African corridor. So it's one of the biggest corridors in the world for remittances. And it could be Ripple's largest corridor soon. So I think something is going on there, and maybe we'll get a little more information. And then I can't believe he used the term flip the switch. He knows what that means to people in the XRP community. But yes, he used it. He said that the switch can be flipped for those who want to use ODL and the line of credit and some new products expanding into B2B and e-commerce payments in 2021. So they've got a lot going on. Despite the setback with the SEC, this is a very big world, and ODL is still rapidly growing, he tweeted. And I believe it, even though I know the C-suite people in a company are propaganda machines, but I do believe they still have a lot going on. So when we talk about those important partners, maybe he'll even talk a little bit about SBI, who is the largest outside shareholder. The CEO, Mr. Kitao, is also on the advisory board. But SBI's got a lot going on in Asia and now in Russia. They just signed to take a 90% share in a Russian direct investment fund through the Russian-Japanese fund with the capital from the SBI Bank in Russia. This is something that they are focusing on in terms of the small to medium-sized enterprises because it has tripled in its clients recently. And this is so important because you're talking about a part of the world that is really, Mr. Kitao is bridging the businesses between the Russian market and the Japanese market, providing that financial trust and the rails between those two countries. So these kind of relationships are key and extremely valuable. And then thanks to Stuart Alderati, he is the general counsel at Ripple, he let us know about an article that was posted on the Law 360. And the reason why that was so great that he did so is because Law 360 is behind a paywall. You can get in temporarily on a free trial, but once your free trial is up, then of course you have to pay. We were lucky that he knew of the link to the author and attorney Joseph Hall, and he posted the article on the firm's website. This is a firm that is in New York, California, DC, Sao Paulo, London, Paris, Madrid, Hong Kong, Beijing, Tokyo. They have a huge footprint. And he advises, as an attorney, the crypto asset managers on fund formation and distribution, including working with blockchain companies on federal securities law matters. So that's why it's important. And because he served at the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission from 2003 2005. So this isn't just some attorney chiming in. This is somebody who is actually advising people in blockchain and cryptocurrencies and also has SEC experience. And bottom line to the article that was really well written, he's a good writer. Bottom line is the regulation of the securities markets is a partisan matter. Unfortunately, I'm really disappointed to hear it, although I'm not surprised. And what that means is that there are strong factions of political parties within. So that is just wrong, because this is the part of government that should govern neutrally, not from a political party. But yeah, it's a real thing, right? So reality sets in. And also, too, nothing in that Howey law back from the 30s says that the lines of computer code are securities, like right? And there is likely a rift among the commissioners, he writes. Well, I don't think that's hard to believe, because we hear Hester Peirce often coming out with her disagreement on matters that are ruled on. Investors have been hurt, yes, big time, and it's the Main Street investor that has been so hurt, so that is not a surprise. And why on earth did the SEC take on the Leviathan? I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, but what it means is a sea serpent, or it's the mythical sea monster. Leviathan. I'm really probably just not doing a good job on that word at all. Leviathan. Forget it. Okay, you get the picture. So why would they take on this big sea monster? Because it's not a slam dunk case. This is a very complicated case, so it doesn't make any sense at all. Not at all. All right. Lastly, he writes here, let's hope that the new role of Gensler makes it a priority to rationalize the application of our securities law to cryptocurrency. Yeah, that is what we all hope, for sure. All right, this is XRP Rose. You might be surprised, but I'm cooking up something with her. Yeah, we are working out the details, and I just want to tell you, look forward to that, as I think it's going to be a lot of fun. It's very different for me. Yeah, I'm going to do something that I've never done before. So I hope you can look forward to that. And one of the favorite people she loves to follow is Lea Helper. Lea is, she's a beauty, isn't she? She has an interesting Instagram. She also has a lot of followers on Twitter, like 44,000. And I do see that from really the beginning of when everybody started staying home, she started a YouTube channel. And she had a very, very interesting guest whom I think a lot of people know about, and that is Michael Arrington. She had an hour conversation with him on the 22nd, and then she's just now uploaded in the last 24 hours kind of a 15-minute condensed version. But still, very few people, not very many people have seen that video, so I want to play a little bit out of that for you. And again, if you're new to the space, Michael Arrington is the founder of TechCrunch, and he has been one of the major influencers and investors in this space early on, early on. In 2008, he listened, when very impressive, he was Time Magazine. He was one that was selected as one of the most influential people in the world. And with his degree in economics, he practiced corporate and securities law at 2 different firms in California. So he too, when he talks about XRP, especially since he started XRP Capital, a hedge fund that is denominated in the cryptocurrency XRP. It was the first of its kind. And since then, the fund has invested in more than 50 crypto startups. So given his background, given his experience, when he talks about XRP, yeah, I listen. I do listen. And I want to play this portion here where she asks some good questions, and he is very candid with her. And just kind of sit back and have a listen.
But in terms of what happened with the SEC, I want to get your thoughts on that, because that, for some, came out of the blue. For Brad Garlinghouse, apparently, it didn't quite come out of the blue. So what are your thoughts on that? Do you think it's a security? And also, like, how would you define a security for those that don't know? This is XRP, obviously.
Yeah, you just asked a lot. Okay, so
let's start with defining a security. If we can.
Yeah, okay. Well, so I hate this question. And I'll tell you why. Like, I like answering it, but I hate the question. So I actually was a securities lawyer before I became an entrepreneur. That was back a ways. But I wrote a book about initial public offerings. I know securities law. And whether or not something is a security, even asking that question just plays into the hands of the SEC. They want everybody using their definitions to decide what is and isn't a security. Look, we buy cryptocurrencies with the hope of making money when they're denominated in dollars. We do that because we don't believe in dollars. Is that a security? Maybe. I don't know. It depends, because it's not just about, is it a security and then the conversation's over. Is it a security? And then if it is, which is entirely a legal definition, then the SEC can really put the hurt on you. And so I think it's all securities, in the sense of, like, we're all buying these things because we're trying to get into assets that will protect us from what the dollar is doing. But no, are we looking at the Howey test, a 100-year-old sort of test that is absolutely useless in a modern world? It's ridiculous. And so we also have to look at the fact that there's like 7 other federal organizations that are regulating crypto. And so, is it a currency? Is it a commodity? How does the IRS tax it? How does the DOJ and the FBI look at all of this? And it's just a mess. And so what is more interesting than, is this a security? How do we define a security? Is, will the U.S. come up with a coherent regulatory scheme that allows Americans and people who want to do business in America to experiment with new business models and new type of assets to compete on a worldwide basis? And the answer so far is absolutely not. The U.S. is only concerned with how to tax it and how to shut it down. And so we need to fix those 2 problems from a much higher perspective than, is this a security or not a security? Does that answer the question?
Yes, kind of. But from,
I think it was a wonderful answer to the question.
But I still, well, not exactly, because you didn't answer, like, do you think it's a security?
I'm hurt.
Because it matters. It matters, because although you said, we should be focusing on other issues, like the fact that they're sort of stifling innovation through all this tax and this and that. But as the founder of Arrington XRP Capital, there are a lot of XRP bag holders watching now. A lot of people sort of feel that this could give XRP clarity. So that matters as well. The delisting of XRP on many different platforms matters. Just really about, for people holding XRP, for investors.
You don't want to talk philosophy. You want to talk, like, down and dirty, like, what's actually going to happen here. And I don't have answers.
Of course.
I have no idea. Like, okay. I mean, the exchanges are delisting XRP despite the massive volume of XRP trades that were happening and a lot of fees they're creating, because they're scared. They're scared of the U.S. government. And so you saw a mass delisting, which is, it's not that surprising. When it comes to, like, what's actually going to happen, which I think is what you're really asking,
the future is what I'd like to know.
Look, I'm hoping that we get some regulatory clarity from this, but what I believe is the SEC wants Ripple dead to put a feather in their cap. Now, that's pure speculation, based on nothing other than speculation. Also, the SEC is an entity that changes over time and is changing right now in terms of SEC chairs. And so what the SEC wants over time is largely going to be dependent on what the executive branch wants over time. And the executive branch just changed. So I have no idea. I have no visibility into what's going to happen to XRP at all. I believe the SEC probably wants us to go to trial, and when it goes to trial, we'll see what happens. But I don't know. And do I think it's a security from the point of view of the SEC? No. But from the point of view of me, this doesn't matter. Like, what's a security, what isn't a security is totally irrelevant. And it really just comes down to like whether you only allow rich people to trade an asset or you allow everybody to trade an asset. And so when you look at like things like Uber, I was able to invest in one of the first rounds of Uber and Airbnb and Pinterest because I had wealth and had a venture fund. Everyday people who are just as smart or smarter than me also wanted to invest in those companies, or would have if they could have like looked at the business plans like I did. But the government told them that they're not worthy, that they're too poor, and so they can't make good financial decisions on their own, and so they're not allowed to invest in that. And so they don't get to make 10,000x returns on things like Uber and Pinterest and Airbnb and other companies. DoorDash is actually a funny one because I said no to it, but all my friends became multi-billionaires on DoorDash. So now it's the same damn thing. The SEC comes in and they say, we don't think poor people, their definition of poor, are smart enough to make decisions that rich people are. And so we're going to stop them from doing that. That's evil. And so who cares what the definition of a security is at the end of the day? And we can debate that all day, although I'd probably tune out at some point because I don't care. What I do care about is that we should stop fraud and we should allow people to make any decisions that they want to make, financially speaking. And that's it. And that's the end of the conversation from my point of view, because I'm only looking at it philosophically.
Okay, so philosophically speaking, if this does hurt XRP, do you think this is therefore a threat to the rest of the crypto space?
The question you just asked, God, you're good at this. The question you just asked is can anything take crypto down at this point? Right? That's really the question you asked. So XRP is decided there's a security. It's decided by court that there were securities sold without an exemption or registration under the Securities Act, and everybody that works or ever worked for Ripple is now in prison for life or put to death. Why not do that? What happens then? I think it's bad for crypto, but I think that crypto lives on. And but I don't know what that means. For example, let's say that tomorrow the United States government said that Bitcoin is a national security threat. Across the board, every regulatory agency said, we're not allowing Bitcoin. It's illegal now. Congress passes a law. If you hold Bitcoin, you're going to be put to death. Done. Would that kill Bitcoin? No. But it would suck, and it would be de facto dead anyway, because, people would have to decide if they want to hold this asset and be put to death. So I think the U.S. government has the ability to kill crypto. But I don't know. I think as more and more time goes on and more government representatives own crypto, that becomes a smaller and smaller likelihood. But no, I don't think XRP, whether XRP lives or dies, has much effect on crypto in general. But what's right and wrong, it matters a lot.
Yeah.
That's pretty much the 15-minute clip that she uploaded today. And I think, Lea, you did a great job with your questions. And I'm following your channel now. All right, everybody, let's see. I just had one little bit of Flare information to tell you, and that is, of course, Mickey B. Fresh and his channel. It's going great, and his website is going great. And Notorious did this fantastic video. Notorious is super talented. He pulled out portions of the interview that I had with Mickey and then created this pretty powerful video that is pure entertainment. And I just want to say, Notorious, you're very talented and thank you so much. I think it's really fun for everyone to watch. I'm going to put a link to it in the description below. All right, now we are jumping to the fluff. So, Corda, they made the news last summer, August, that they're using robots to deliver food, which was, this country loves its robots. And that's not so much about what I want to talk about, but I do want to tell you that they've come out with another Valentine's Day chocolate ramen this year. This is a soy sauce base, but with some cocoa oil and a big piece of chocolate on the top, which I don't know if this one is for me, but when I read some of the Twitter reviews, people were saying it tasted really, really good. So I don't know about that. The one thing that made me a little bit sad was that the government here in Japan is thinking about completely removing the public payphones. And the public payphone is considered a universal service in Japan. So the current regulations in the cities and in the countryside too, they're required to be installed. Well, for the cities, they're required to be installed every 500 square meters or 0.3 miles. And then in the countryside, they have to have one every 0.6 miles. So it's a lot, right? It's a part of our scenery. It's a part of our, I don't know, I get the feeling of just makes me feel safe when I see a payphone, and maybe because I am totally from a generation that really relied on the public payphone. There's some 150,000 of them dotted about Japan, but they have fallen to just 2% of what they were in their use of what they used to be. So there's going to be a decision in June that comes whether they are going to remove them, because it's just the maintenance is not making sense, and it's a high cost for the government. So I have a feeling that we'll probably see many of them go away, and it's maybe also too, I'm feeling like it's not such a great idea, because during the 2018 earthquake up in Hokkaido, they had a big power outage, and so the cell phones didn't work and people had to use the payphone. So I think for a country that has as many earthquakes as Japan does, it's probably not a wise idea to take them all out. That is for sure. Anyway, I will miss them, and I'll leave you with one photograph in particular that I did show once before, but I just can't believe it. This is from this year. It was taken about a month ago now, of one of those lone phone booths in the middle of a snowstorm. Look at that snow. All right, everybody, do take care. Sayonara for now. Bye-bye.